Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
Called out Adam Kinzinger's "both sides do it" BS,
Oh.
right? I mean, where is that? Oh, he said it'd be awesome if the insane left and the insane right created a new party and the rest of us normals could just run America like adults. And you said, let's stick to elected officials and people with actual power. Insane right wants to undermine elections, make a criminal insurrectionist president, start a war with Mexico, ethnically cleanse Gaza, ban books, round up migrants, put them in camps before mass deportation, shoot shoplifters, make climate change worse, take away the rights of LGBTQ people, force women to stay pregnant even if it kills them. Insane left doesn't support Israel. What else?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And again, stick to elected officials, because the thing is on the right, they elect all those their people that believe that crap. We don't elect the ones that we would call extreme. We don't even hear from them. So they have to make up something to be the extreme left, because the extreme left in this country has no power and the extreme right has a scary bunch of power.
You know, I've already mentioned, obviously, the woman and two children that drowned in the Rio Grande Friday. And you just said arrest them for manslaughter, arrest their commanders, then arrest Greg Abbott. Enough playing with these savages. I mean, he literally stopped help from coming for these people. That
Yeah.
I maybe I'm being happy clappy. I don't think that's who we are as Americans. I understand that a frightening amount of people like Republicans like Trump's poisoning the blood rhetoric. I still just I can't imagine most people think, yes, I want people, women and children, to be drowned in the Rio Grande.
Yeah, yeah. And imagine that, you had National Guards, Texas National Guard members facing off with Federal Border Patrol agents, and at some point that's going to have to be dealt with. That aspect of it has to be dealt with. That the border is the responsibility of the federal government. And for Texas to try to take that over is frankly, a kind of insurrection in itself. And it needs to be treated as such.
Yeah. So predictions for today, you said I'm not making predictions on who's going to win or anything, but I'm betting that there is going to be a decent sized contingent of previous Trump voters who don't vote for Trump in 2024 because they're just tired of all this S. That's what I keep thinking. I just remember when he said, "Oh, we can't vote for Hillary because there's going to be endless investigations." I mean, who wants this continual drama and a different criminal trial every single week? And you said, I also think if the Republicans know that if Trump's not on the ballot, a large number of his voters will go back to not voting, and we'll actually see how small and insignificant the GOP really is.
Yeah.
I think that is absolutely their fear, Rude.
Yeah, and they also know that, it doesn't take a large percentage of their voters going away to tilt everything to Democrats. And it doesn't take a large number of their voters, saying, yeah, you know what, as a poll said of, that 43% of Nikki Haley voters said that they would vote for Biden instead of Trump if Nikki Haley isn't the nominee. Now, of course, that's going to go down when the election actually happens. But let's say that 20%, to be optimistic, 20% of Nikki Haley voters switch to Biden. That turns the election. Mm-hmm. That makes it impossible for Trump to win. And so, that's all that needs to happen is enough people saying, oh my God, do we have to go through this again? Do we have to go through all the drama? Do we have to pay attention to every trial? It's been 9 friggin' years, Stephanie.
I'm exhausted.
So tired of, I've never thought about, been forced to think about a human being in politics for this long.
Yeah. I know. Listen, there's a reason they call him the boss. I'm going off Bruce Springsteen's tweet. He just, because you're, Jersey boy. He tweeted, he said, decent Americans outnumber Trump supporters 3-1. Mm-hmm. And I think we just have to not panic, because I think it just, you're right, just the specter of it is so exhausting and so terrifying. And by the way, you wrote a great piece, and I've been thinking about this all week. Trump's silence on death threats is evidence against him. And you said, I remember, as I'm sure you do, the years after 9/11, every time some violence was committed, the entire Muslim community had to condemn it, right? Mm-hmm. And this is part of the wormhole we go down, Rude, is like when I keep saying, "Oh, something bad's going to happen," something bad has already happened. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't even know the body count of people that have died because of Donald Trump. Let's start with El Paso and Buffalo and Paul Pelosi and the rhetoric. I mean, you said it's fascinating and horrific and entirely expected that former President charity thief and current indicted felon rapist GOP frontrunner Donald Trump has not said a word to denounce the death threats, swatting incidents, and actual violence, including murder done in his name. The regularity with which it happens to anyone who opposes Trump gets death threats against them and their families means it's a feature, not a bug. I mean, and we just somehow the media doesn't. I'm like, why is there not more focus on this?
Yeah. Why isn't he being asked at any occasion, will you denounce the threats that are being made? And because
well, he was, and he didn't. He walked away. They said,
yeah,
"Will you
well,
denounce?"
yeah, that was while he was walking away, but it was also, though, every chance he should be asked that, and that's another reason he doesn't go on any network that's not in or with anybody who's not totally in the bag for him. He won't talk to them because somebody's going to have to push him on that. Why will you not tell people to stop being violent? And I mean, it just seems like the absolute least he could do. Instead, he's posting Sammy the Bull.
I was just going to get to that.
Here's a character witness to me, a guy that had a hit list and who said he participated in murders.
Yes, right. He actually said, "Thank you to Sammy the Bull. I hope Judge Engoron and Kaplan see this."
Right, yeah.
Right. I mean, and Mark Epstein, or what do you call it? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, saying Trump was too icky for Epstein to hang around. That's why he stopped hanging around with him. Because he's such a crook. I'm like, really? Oh my God. You're too icky for Epstein, and Sammy the Bull is your character witness.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the thing, is like, you read one of his early morning truth toilet things, and he's trying so hard. His whole everything he says, he's trying to sound like some mobster tough guy. I mean, that's that's the lingo that he uses, and he's trying to get people on board with that tough guy kind of rant.
Well, as you right, Trump knows exactly what's going to happen, and he gleefully participates in it. And I think the larger point you make, you say, in the polluted MAGA ecosystem, we know Republicans stay in line, at least partly because they don't want to deal with the flood of violent crazies calling, messaging, posting about the harm that will come to those heretical to the MAGA mob. I mean, we're seeing it in this pathetic Iowa caucus, which isn't even a caucus. It's like, who's going to lose by 30 points? Because none of them will actually condemn him. I mean, the best they can do is say, oh, well, he's probably going to be convicted because it's so unfair, but that's why you need to vote for me. I mean, they want to have it all ways, right? I mean, not.
And I love the pathetic little bit of courage, not even courage at this point, that Ron DeSantis finally showed in front of a group of voters yesterday, saying actually calling out Trump to say it's all about him. If the campaign goes on, it will be all about him. He doesn't care about you. I do. And I'm like, yeah, that would have been a great message. I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, if you'd have had the guts to actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I wanted to get your take on one last one. Joe Walsh, speaking of, our former Republican friends, he said, "Do not normalize Donald Trump. I'm as guilty of this as anyone. I go on TV and talk about the state of the Republican race for the nomination, and by doing so, I normalize him. It's wrong. We have to stop. He's a criminal, a traitor, an existential threat to our democracy. This is what I should say about him every time I talk about him. Now, not how he's doing in the race and what his campaign strategy is. None of that. We must stop normalizing him." That's what was making my head explode. Just watching this coverage, like, this is anything close to normal, what we're doing right now.
Right, and as if this is a regular horse race. Yeah, we're going to just watch the way he moves, and talking to voters as if, come on, why would you want to vote for that crazy guy? Isn't he wild? Instead of, oh my God, aren't you a threat to the existence of this country, you stupid voter? This is no longer, it's not even subjective. It is an objective fact that he wants to come in and overturn, things that are the foundation of this country. That's what the whole immunity from prosecution argument is. It is absolutely overturning the It's overturning the Declaration of Independence, for Christ's sake.